Hi there. Welcome to another edition of TokStocks. I'm your host, Keir Reynolds, and today we're lucky enough to have Gabriel Rubacha, CEO and Director for NOA Lithium Brines. It trades on the TSXV Venture Exchange under the ticker NOAL. How you doing, Gabriel?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invitation to join you.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. As we know, lithium stocks are a little bit out of favor, but that's often where you can find diamonds in the rough. And you really caught my attention here recently when you announced an upgrade to your mineral resource estimate. I just about fell off my chair with some of the numbers that you've got there. We'll unpack that a little later, but anyways, I thought it was a good opportunity to sort of get you on with that type of significant sort of catalyst. Well, why don't we sort of start off and we'll get our 60-second pitch out of the way. So first question, what is the name and stock ticker of your company?
The company name is NOA Lithium Brines. The ticker is NOAL, and we are trading at TSXV Venture.
What is the plan for the company?
Our plan is we got three assets. We got our flagship, that's Rio Grande, where we are spending all our efforts in Rio Grande, and then we got Arizaro and Salinas Grandes, and our plan is to unlock value to our shareholders first in Rio Grande, and through that then we go to Arizaro and then to Salinas Grandes. Our plan is in the next 3 years be able to unlock value on the three assets that we got in our portfolio.
How many shares are outstanding?
128 million right now.
Approximately what is the insider ownership and how much capital have you invested?
We got approximately 37% management and founders. We invested, the company invested 15 million already, 15 million US in the company, and we are planning to raise additional capital. We are currently exercising warrants by management and founders, so we are providing additional capital to the company.
Are you fully funded for 2024?
No, we are raising additional capital as we speak. Again, through exercise of warrants that we got at 20 cents. We are currently exercising warrants. Myself and other founders are exercising warrants. That's why we engage PI in order to get a partner for Arizaro, so we can spend all our efforts in Rio Grande while a partner can focus in Arizaro.
What are your short-term catalysts?
I would say that during 2024 is be able to get to a PEA. Through that, we need to drill, I would say, 2-3 additional diamond drills in the south and north. A few pumping wells that are still necessary to accomplish that. We already identified sources for water for industrial use, and with that, our target is to start a PEA towards the end of the year. That's our main catalyst in Rio Grande, and the second one would be through a partner, start drilling in Arizaro and start having good results there, where others already identify good source of lithium there.
What is your market cap today?
Approximately 30 million Canadian.
Excellent, thank you. Now let's move on and we'll talk a bit about you. Maybe for some of my viewers who don't know who you are, could you share a bit about your background?
Sure. I got more than 30 years experience in developing projects. I spent 26 years of my professional life in engineering construction, in the largest engineering construction in the region, through different positions, project manager, project director of mining projects, then managing director for this company and commercial director, many positions. but spending 26 years in the project development business. And then in 2016, I joined Lithium Americas as a board member, as an independent director. And then in 2017, I joined the company as an executive. While I was also a board member, I was in charge of the development of the assets of Lithium Americas in Argentina. And then with the joint venture with Ganfeng, I was the CEO of Mineral until 2021 that I decided to retire. I was a short retirement because in 2022 we decided to found this company with a few colleagues and friends. And through 2022, I was basically, we put together a land package in these three assets that we got. In 2023, we got listed. I would say that in addition to me, it's Hernan Sabaya, which is probably the most reputable mining lawyer in Argentina, who is also, we are co-managing the company. He's executive director, chairman, sorry. And so we got a lot of experience in the mining space and in the lithium space in Argentina.
Great. And so you guys co-founded the company. And then last year, I guess you kind of joined, you bought yourself a job. You joined as CEO of the company, if I'm not mistaken. Why did you decide it was time for you to jump into the CEO seat?
Originally, we thought about just being a board member, both Hernan and myself. We founded this company. We decided, okay, let's put a professional running this company. But in September, we realized that it's going to be much better that we got the skin on the game. We got our money. We are shareholders. We got a big chunk of the shares between Hernan and myself. That is going to be better be local because the activity is in Argentina, it's not in Canada. Canada maybe the company is listed, but the activity is in Argentina. So we thought it would have been much better for the shareholders and ourselves to be local, be close to where the activity is taking place. At the beginning, we were hesitant regarding that. We didn't know how the shareholders and the market would react to that. And we found that they reacted quite positively, not in the share price, but in the sense that they saw that it's much better to have local management where the activity is taking place rather than in North America where, quote unquote, nothing is happening.
So the company went public in 2022 or 2023?
March 2023.
And how did it go public? Was it like an initial public offering or an RTO?
We did an RTO. We worked on that pretty much the second half of 2022 and got completed the transaction in March 2023.
Can you provide a bit of an overview on the company's projects? So they're all in Argentina, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe you could give us sort of initially kind of a high-level overview on what projects you do have.
We got approximately 120,000 hectares of mining properties among the three core assets, that is Rio Grande, Arizaro, and Salinas Grandes. Then we got approximately 20,000 hectares on non-core properties. But the flagship is Rio Grande, where we are focusing our activity right now, and we've been focusing since the very beginning of the activity of the company. And we decided to start in Rio Grande because there was a previous exploration done in this salar. Also, Litica, that is the other owner of the salar. or the major owner of the other part of the salar, had been focused on their mining activity. So we knew that there was brine with high content of lithium, so we decided that that was the right choice to start our exploration activity. We did 5 holes in 2023, and we published maiden results in February this year. So that was pretty much what we've been focused right now. We are focusing in looking for a partner. We engage what is now Ventum, previously PI Financial,
Right.
looking for a partner. We got some interested parties that are looking to Arizaro. In Arizaro, we got close to 80,000 hectares, so we got probably the largest land area in Arizaro. So we are confident that once we unlock value there, it's going to be very promising. There are a few companies working in exploration in Arizaro with good results. The concentration is not as high as in Rio Grande, but the volume in terms of the volume of brine there is quite impressive. Rio Grande, going back to Rio Grande, what we discover in Rio Grande is it's a salar with a high concentration of lithium. So that gives us a lot of confidence regarding the development of the project going forward, with a lot of flexibility in terms of going to evaporation or DLE. Which differentiates us with other peers in the lithium spectrum right now.
Right. So it sometimes can be a little bit confusing for investors. They hear, they associate sort of like we got like pegmatite, hard rock sort of lithium, pretty popular in like places like Australia, Brazil, Canada. And then we hear things like DLE or like lithium brine. Sometimes that in North America would be reworking sort of like old oil wells and things like that. And some of that technology is not necessarily as like proven. And then we've got our traditional sort of like evaporation style sort of salar brines. But you're saying with your projects, you have a bit of optionality. You could do the evaporation technique or look at also some direct lithium extraction, DLE sort of technology.
Yeah, that is correct. With the right now, maiden result was the concentration, the average concentration was 612 milligrams per liter. Now with the increased resource, we got 3.8 million tons LCE with the average concentration of 535 milligrams per liter. So this ranks us in the high end of mid-range of concentration in terms of salar, similar to Caucharí or Laros, where Lithium Americas, Ganfeng, and Arcadium are operating. So this concentration allows us to go into traditional process evaporation, reducing significantly the risk to develop the project, or going DLE with potentially more recovery. But still, we need to validate which is the technology that really provides us the confidence to go into that technology going forward. In any case, once we complete our next stage of exploration, going to additional pumping wells, diamond rails, water, and going to a PA, most likely we'll look for a partner, and with that partner, potentially with more experience that we do, we are an exploration company, we can define whether it's going to be more convenient going to evaporation or DLE. But in general terms, we got the the flexibility that that provides a lot of the risk the Rio Grande project going forward.
Great. And so Argentina, based upon some of the stats that I was looking at, it ranks as sort of the fourth most significant producer of lithium per country out of the countries sort of globally. So that's a pretty good amount to be responsible for. And it's sort of got sort of two sort of traditionally sort of prolific sort of areas for production. I guess one in the north, and then another in neighboring, I guess, Salta province. Is that where your projects are kind of located? Where
All,
are your projects located? Are they
all,
located where
all
there's
our
production?
all our projects are located in Salta, and this is not a coincidence. We looked for projects all in Salta in order to get just a single jurisdiction to deal with. We believe that Salta is probably the most friendly jurisdiction in Latin America. We are not saying that. Fraser Institute also said that as well.
Sure.
So mm, we got the 140,000 hectares. We got all in the province of Salta.
Excellent. So you're in one of the main sort of areas for production. So what would so you sort of indicated that you've got some pretty decent grades. So would those be considered good grades for cellar sort of based brines?
Yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, most of the current developments are much lower in terms of grade. If you see Rio Tinto's Rincon, they got between 200 plus and 300 milligrams per liter. The same in Mariana, where Ganfen is developing the project. The recent transaction that Tech Petrol acquired Alpha Lithium, the same in the range of 200s. This Rio Grande probably is one of the last high grade projects to be developed. So definitely it's very robust. It surprised us when we started drilling the high grade that we found in our first hole. So we are pretty confident of what we got.
Right. And just recently you announced an updated mineral resource estimate. So an aggregate of measured, indicated, and inferred. You've got about nearly 3.8 million tons at an average grade of 535 milligrams per liter. That increased your resource, I think, by about 65%, or at least a portion of it.
Yeah.
How would that sort of overall sort of aggregate resource size compare to any of your peers, or maybe any recent sort of takeout targets over the last 24 months?
I would say it's pretty high. Um, um,
Yeah, that's good.
um, no, I mean, when we published maiden resource, we said that we were confident that we can double the resource, especially in the north, I'm sorry, in the southeast area of our properties that we didn't have much information. So with that geophysics that we did, we were able to identify brines there. So we, I mean, we know what we got right now. We still got, we are working on what we found in the north and north east of our properties, especially considering that we drill approximately 15% of our properties. So we know that we still got potential to increase. We don't know how much, but still, having a 4 million ton CLC project is significant. It's significant, especially with the concentration that we're talking about. It's a good target. Unfortunately, we are not in the best market conditions, but in
Sure.
different situations, it would be a great project.
So, what sort of size do you sort of need it to be before you would, make a production decision? What size does it have to be before it become like a mine? I know you've got a lot of work that you have to do. You have to do your PEA and do all the economics and figure out how you build it and what technology, but sort of extrapolating that out and looking at some of the other peer comparables and other operations in that golden, or in the, I guess, lithium triangle. What sort of size are you needing to kind of get to before you start having those discussions?
There are projects, peers, that got a resource of 1.5 and 2 million, and they already got a PEA. They're already going forward to develop the project. So even before we expanded our resource, we with 2.3 million, we had a very good project. Now with 4 million, it's definitely a project. We got a project. It needs to be defined whether it's going to be, I'm just saying numbers.
Yeah.
It's 20 or 25 or 30,000 tons per year, but and how many years of lifetime? But we are talking about a significant project to be developed.
Excellent. And so you mentioned that you'd retained a financial advisor to look for alternatives or look for a partner for your Arizaro project. Is that really to sort of like free up your sort of available capital in a tough market to focus on Rio Grande?
Yeah, originally our idea in a different market conditions would have been to raise capital late 2023, early 2024. Unfortunately, this is not the case. So we are looking for a partner in Arizaro so we can focus 100% in Rio Grande and a partner develop Arizaro. That's the idea that we got with Arizaro.
And I see you've started if I'm not mistaken, you put your money where your mouth is, and you've loaned the company through a bridge loan, US 1 million from yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is that really to help bridge until you get a partner, or until you are able to figure out some way of securing additional capital?
It is both. We with Arizaro, we believe that we're gonna have additional cash for the development of Rio Grande, and also as mentioned before, we are exercising warrants that we got at 20 cents, management and founders. So we are providing additional cash to the company, but this is just another indication of how confident we management are with the project. We're risking our own money. Besides this bridge, we are exercising warrants, not selling shares. So it's fresh capital to the company.
And in light of being a little tight financially, are you doing any active exploration work?
Not right now. We are in a conservative mode, I would say. We wanted
Sure.
to maintain the team. This is critical for us. We were able to put together a strong team, a local team. So we are trying to maximize their involvement. I mean, to maintain them as much as possible. And once we raise additional capital, we're going to continue our exploration campaign.
And the projects that you do have, about 140,000 hectares, I guess you got 120 that represent your three core projects, and then you've got another 20,000 which are sort of non-core. Are those all owned 100%, or are you earning in on any of those?
100% owned. We got some options agreement in some of them. Rio Grande is pretty much it's almost completed, 100%. We made pretty much all the payments already. There are still payments to be done with some options that we got in Arizaro, but we own 100% of all our properties.
Excellent. So let's turn our attention here. Maybe we can talk cap structure. So again, how many shares are outstanding with the company?
128 million.
And you mentioned that there's some warrants that are sort of in the money, slightly in the money. You've got some 20-cent warrants. You're trading around, depending on the day, 24, 25, 26 cents, something like that. How many warrants are outstanding approximately?
The warrants approximately 84 million approximately, and 23 million approximately are on the money at 20 cents. And these are the ones that we are exercising. Those warrants are held by management founders, and we are exercising those warrants as we speak. Approximately 3.5 million US.
Great. And you mentioned a little earlier when I was asking you insider ownership, it's about 37% of the company is owned by insiders.
Yeah.
And that might go up a little bit
Not
depending on those
insiders.
warrants.
I mean, insiders is a little bit less.
Sure.
Insiders say that it's in the neighborhood of more than between 15 and 20%, but
Right.
management and founders, we are
Okay.
talking about
Gotcha.
7.
Right. Okay. Insiders and founders.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And any other sort of strategic investors that you might be able to mention that are part of your cap table?
Not right now. I mean, we raised pretty much most of our capital was raised in Argentina. I would say 80 plus percent of the capital in the different rounds were raised in Argentina. And our investors are here for a long run. Not much was raised in North America, I would say. Unfortunately, we started raising capital when the market started in this bad
Sure.
mood.
Softened a little
Lithium,
bit for lithium.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we raise pretty much everything in Argentina, and our investors are here for a long run. They are really confident of what we are doing, what we've been accomplishing. I mean, at the end of the day, we listed the company in March 2023, and we were able to have maiden resource in 11 months. So we deliver what we promised, and our shareholders are happy for that. Unfortunately, the share price is not reflecting that, but it will come.
Sure. And in terms of your last sort of like equity raise, where maybe it was part of your RTO or whatnot, what was sort of the price in terms of your last equity raise, and when was it done?
The last one was at 40 cents Canadian, and we raised approximately 7 million Canadian. That was May last year, May 2023. That was the last one. And then the market
Great. And
started.
okay, and so you are looking at investigating some potential ways of raising capital here moving
Mhm.
forward, so you can continue to advance your Rio Grande. Some mechanisms that you're utilizing are exercise of some of those warrants, which management and founders own, and then you're also looking at how to unlock value from Arizaro. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
correct.
All right. And so what are your thoughts on lithium sector? You're an ultimate like insider participating in it. You're putting money up. You've built this company. So what I guess you're hearing from different sort of speculators in the resource sector. What are your thoughts? Maybe you could share with us. What are you hearing and seeing?
I think that midterm, long term, there's still going to be more demand than supply. Um, Coming from the project development business and being development projects in lithium, I know that one thing is to get a project in the pipeline that this is going to come on production and X Y date, and another completely different is deliver that date and also accomplish the nameplate capacity of that plant. We see many examples in lithium. Lithium is much more complex than other minerals. So I know that the demand is going to be much higher than supply. Not all the projects are going to be in production as planned. With the current pricing, Some of the expansions and new projects probably are going to be delayed, so putting more pressure on that. So I believe that at the end of the day, pricing will go up. The 15,000 or 14,000 is not going to remain for long. The last point is that definitely it's not going to go back to the 70,000, 80,000, but for sure it's going to be in the 20 plus range going forward.
Right. Well, a famous resource investor and financier, Rick Rule, says, the cure for low prices is low prices. I would imagine that with some of the low prices, it does make some of these mines and new production sort of marginal and maybe
Yeah.
are not able to move forward, which means that you don't have that new sources of supply to counter increase in demand. So perhaps a period of You think that's true?
Especially a hot rock that it's going to be, it's more tight with the current pricing conditions.
Right. And so why is Argentina a great jurisdiction for investors? Why do you think you're in there? You've you live there. You've operated in there. What mining jurisdiction is so important these days. What can you say about Argentina?
I would say a few things. First of all, brines are got a competitive advantage in terms of price. Brines are located basically in Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. That's a Lithium Triangle. Among the three jurisdictions, the only one that got the resource belonging to the provinces rather than to the federal government is Argentina. That is a big difference. Argentina is the only one that doesn't consider lithium a strategic mineral that requires the involvement of the national entity or a state-owned entity or got a special permit like in Chile. So that's particularly to Argentina that got a big advantage in terms of that. And the second thing that, as I mentioned, the resources belong to the provinces. And the provinces are really interested on the development of mining activity in their jurisdiction because it attracts, first of all, investment, and it leverages the development of the contractors, suppliers, even professionals in their jurisdiction. So we got a lot of support at the provincial level for the development of mining activity there. So I would say that's the main difference that we got.
What sort of short-term catalysts could we look to, or should we expect to see with NOAA?
I would say that our first one, we plan to get a potentially scoping study for Rio Grande before we get a PEA that will provide the first idea of valuation in terms of what's the value that we can bring to the project. That probably is going to take place during second half of this year while we continue with our exploration campaign. And the second one is unlocking value in Arizaro when we start drilling there and validating that we got brines with a high concentration of lithium. That's the two key catalysts that we got in front of us during the second half of this year.
Do you think you're a takeout target?
Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
Do you feel your shares are undervalued right now?
Definitely. If we compare our share price or market cap to peers in Argentina, I'm not talking about anywhere else.
Sure.
If we compare our market cap in terms of resource, just considering measured and indicated, excluding all the inferred, we are talking about $14 versus our average of our peers 3 times higher than us. And if we compare in terms of valuation, in terms of the area or the hectares that we got, is 10 to 1. So we are talking about approximately $700 versus an average of $7,000. So definitely we believe and we are sure that we are undervalued. Our share got low liquidity in the market. That's one thing that is affecting us, and we're trying to solve during this year. But based on the comparables, definitely we are undervalued between 3 and 10 times.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate that answer. It's very insightful, and thank you for giving the detail. Any final thoughts that we didn't cover? Anything you'd like to make sure that we know about the company that we didn't I didn't ask you about?
No, I would say that final comment is that I would say that Rio Grande, particularly, is one of the last big salars to be developed with a good, I mean, fairly good size resource and with a high concentration. Probably it's the only one that remains there to be developed. And in particular to us, we are probably the only one among our peers that got no commitments with takeoffs or partner or a major investor that got that limit us going forward. So we
Sure.
got a lot of ground to cover in that arena.
Well, I really appreciate Gabriel. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your time. So we'd like to stay up on the story. I'd like to reach out and we'll see if we can do another one of these about 3 months
Sure.
time. I'd like to do sort of quarterly updates. I wish you lots of success here with your sort of process for unlocking value in Arizaro. And hey, it was great to catch up. Thanks for giving me some time.
Likewise, thanks, here.